And as I do this, I'm going to make this a little more autobiographical. I'm going to talk about myself a little bit because my career was being a history teacher, and I always felt like if you were in a class and the teacher could give you stories and kind of tell you stories, that always made it a little more enjoyable, and I could kind of identify with that. So I'm going to tell you some stories about myself, kind of how did I get started with this, and also talk about what to collect. I was inducted into Santee Lodge when I was 13 years old. Anybody in here 13 years old? Close enough? You are? Well, when I was 13 years old, I got inducted in Santee Lodge. We were staying in Elk Campsite, and it was Issaquah chapter. Anybody in Issaquah? Okay. Issaquah chapter. It just so happened that everybody in my campsite was a patch collector. We were all 13, 14 years old. Between us, we might have had 20 patches. But in that campsite that week, it was OA week, those 20 patches got traded back and forth between all of us probably a dozen times. I mean, your whole patch collection could fit in your hand, but we were trading patches at night. It's just one of those things that happen. So as far as what to collect, probably the first thing that all of us do is we collect something very local. For me, growing up in Santee Lodge, that meant that I wanted to collect Santee Lodge fellowship patches. That was probably my first collection. And then eventually it got into collecting Santee Lodge flaps. For a lot of you who are just starting out, I'm guessing that your collection probably looks like that. It has a lot of fellowship patches and maybe some flaps as well. In the Lodge Trading Post, for example, they probably have the last 2 or 3 years worth of Lodge fellowship patches still for sale, maybe $3 a piece. So if you don't have some things, maybe that might be a place for you to go and look at. For me, I eventually kind of branched out. I loved Camp Coker, worked on Camp Coker staff, so I started collecting Camp Coker patches. Loved PD Area Council, started collecting council strips. And I just kept going, kept going, kept going. We got a council strip guy here. I kept going, until eventually I just collected anything that's had to do with PD Area Council. I got a little crazy. I was collecting t-shirts, I collected jackets, I collected hats. Got a little crazy. So eventually there did come a point where I had to cut back, sort of like an addict. I had to cut back and go on a 12-step program. And I quit the hats, I quit the t-shirts, I quit the jackets and all that. Just kind of got crazy. But I still to this day collect any kind of patch or neckerchief that says PD Area Council, Santee Lodge, Camp Coker. I'll give you an example. In my pocket, I've got 3 patches that I bought in the Trading Post today. One's a Covery patch, this one's a Cub Day Camp. I didn't go to these events, but I have a collection of any event patch from PD Area Council, especially if it's held at Camp Coker. That's something that I like to get. So in terms of thinking about what to collect, that's probably the first place a lot of us would start. Collect locally. Collect your camp, collect your council, collect maybe your district. For me, I used to collect these Scout Expo patches back when we used to have a Scout Expo every year. That was something I was really interested in.